So I'm here with Karen Bontempo, who's a signing interpreter. Now you just did a lecture on stress. For new people to the translating interpreting scene, what kind of stresses are there on interpreters?
I think not knowing the information that's going to be conveyed in the course of an appointment can be very stressful. So you are dealing with two parties who may know each other, may have a prior background, may be exchanging information with one another where they know the content that they're going to be exchanging, whereas the interpreter has no idea what's going to be said. And so you don't know what's going to transpire, and that can be very stressful. But I think more so in relation to the presentation we were just talking about is that interpreters can end up in very sensitive, very traumatic circumstances where they're interpreting for parties who've perhaps been victimised, been abused. So they've been through some kind of difficult or challenging experience, and then in relating their story to a professional, say a psychologist or some other mental health worker, or to a medical staff member, or to an immigration worker even in the immigration department, can actually cause the interpreter to take on some of that stress. And if they don't have good personal coping strategies to deal with that, that stress can lead to a sustained, stressful, cumulative stressful environment that can lead to vicarious traumatisation if it occurs over a repeated number of times.
So you're an Auslan interpreter, and that's the Australian version of sign language. What's the difference between the signing in different countries?
Auslan is actually very similar to British Sign Language and also New Zealand Sign Language. They are part of a sign language family that is actually considerably different from American Sign Language. American Sign Language historically is related to French Sign Language, and so the languages, it's not a universal language, sign language, so every country around the world has a different sign language. And having said that, though, what you find is if you learn one sign language and you travel, in particular for deaf people as they travel, because they're very good at gesture and natural mime, they find it much easier to make themselves understood in other countries than, say, hearing people do who don't speak the language when they arrive in a particular foreign country. So deaf people tend to be very much, very adept at making themselves understood just through gesture. And interpreters, sign language interpreters, as a result of learning a sign language, are often quite adept at that as well.